Hey everybody, it's Thunder. I was reflecting today on several things that I thought I'd talk about. One of them is gold and the pursuit of it, and how everybody thinks that that's their savior. And the other thing is civilization, and the other thing is agendas or disinfo. It's kind of putting it all together, you know. And as I watch some of these alternative resources that we have, news resources or information resources, they always seem to end up with, and the way you get out of this is to stack a bunch of gold up or to stack a bunch of silver, and that's the way you're going to survive. I disagree wholeheartedly, and I'll tell you why. Because there has been nothing but bad history, okay, with gold and the pursuit of the shiny metal in the earth. And let me tell you, it caused more problems and killed millions of people and caused genocide and murders of even citizens, and genocide of the indigenous person in this land, the destruction of the Black Hills, the beautiful Pahasapa of the Lakota people. The land in general was overrun like ants. The 49er gold rush was a murderous affair. People gave up their families and traveled east and lost everything they owned. People murdered each other for claims in the 49er California Gold Rush. Chinese workers that would take other people's claims and that they had abandoned and got conscientious and found gold and weren't drinking and found gold were murdered. Women were murdered. And again, this land was devastated by strip mining and, forced water mining, and Mother Earth, Unsi Maka, was just raped, okay? And all for this shiny metal that the Apaches and others just shook their heads and go, what are they digging for this stuff for? And when you think about it, it's worthless. It's just a piece, it's a rock, shiny rock, okay? And so it was designated somehow as being something that would back up a fiat currency. Isn't that an illusion? A rock backing up a fiat currency? How did that come to be? How did gold come to be so endeared to man's heart that he would do anything? Kill, steal, lie, murder, rape, pillage. Because it's an illusion, it's not a savior. When the crisis hits here, when the crisis hits America or anywhere, it's not going to save anybody. The people, it'll be like Mad Max, and they'll find out you got gold, and they'll steal it, and then they won't know what to do with it, because it's an illusion. Can't people see that? And even the Christian Bible says, you can't serve two masters, God and mammon. Mammon being money, materialism. The true riches do not lie with, and true being saved does not lie with having a lot of gold. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't go out and buy gold or silver, or you can do whatever you want to do. But anybody that thinks that they're going to come through the other side of some crisis because they have some gold stacked up somewhere is barking up the wrong tree. The way they might survive the crisis is if they're in tune with nature and they know how to live off Mother Earth, and they know how to go out and hunt elk and, trap their own food and get food out of the earth and drink clean water. That might save them. They might last a while. They might get through the crisis then. But stacking up gold, see, the big picture is that mankind has basically sunken into the depths of depravity and brought the world into chaos and darkness through greed, through immorality, through being unnatural, against nature by, resources, unnatural acts, okay? That's how this system has gotten into trouble, and people have given their power away to criminals, okay? They've given their power away to criminals to run the crooked game here. And it is a crooked game. It's a one-sided game. It's like when you go to Vegas and the odds are with a house. They're not with the people that walk in off the street, although those people make money sometimes. And see, that's the illusion. The illusion is that you get a little money sometimes, so you think that's the answer, but you never get enough money, do you? You never have enough freedom. You never have enough money to buy complete freedom. And people think, well, I have to buy my freedom. And freedom doesn't come from being bought. It comes from a state of mind. Excuse me. And so this, if you read any books about declines of civilization, it's a raping of the resources. Okay, it's concentrating on things, wars to build up resources. And what do these resources have to do with anything? Well, resources are things that keep you alive, like food and water, but somehow that got transferred over to resources or gold and money. Okay, and that's not the true resource. True resource is nature, not unnatural things, natural things. And so, I don't care what people do, and this stock market declined last week, 1,000 points. I don't care what happens. They might fix it up with chewing gum and baling wire and piece it together and keep it going. But it's going to fall because civilizations fall for the specific reasons that I mentioned and that Jared Diamond talks about in his great books, about using up resources and resorting to war and fighting over resources and just basically having a depraved frame of mind. Okay? That's what brings civilizations down to where everything is used up. Okay? And the civilization, when it falls this time, is not going to be one isolated civilization. It's going to be the whole world, because the whole world's connected and the whole world's one big civilization and the whole world's run by one big central bank, which appears as several little central banks or several central banks. They're all really all one. They're all connected. You don't think manipulation's going on behind the scenes and deals are being made behind the scenes? So don't sit around and think that your savior is gold or your savior is silver. It isn't. And the average Joe couldn't buy enough silver and gold to compete with the elite anyway. So it's a non-starter. It's a distraction from the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is that mankind has lost all morality, all balance, all pride in being, spirit is the real resource. The spirit of man is the real resource. There's nothing that can trump the spirit of man, but yet man has let his spirit be crushed. Okay? He's given the criminals the upper hand because he doesn't have enough courage to get up and fight. Okay. And he doesn't have enough courage to quit sucking on the tit of the government and other men and get out into the wilderness and learn how to take care of himself just like our ancestors did. That's what's the problem here, okay? It's a problem of morality and a problem of decadence and a problem of darkness, dark thought, and that produces what you see in the world. Everybody's gotten away from nature. It's pretty simple. From a shamanistic point of view, which is where I come from, it's all about energy. It's all about energy. What kind of energy you put out, what kind of heart do you have, what kind of circular situation do you have going with your fellow man. By circular, I mean all your needs can be met by acceptance of what your fellow man can give you, and actually you're giving it to yourself because you're created with the Creator and you have that ability to attract things to you and for you to give to other people, just like the Native American giveaway. That's what the principle of that is, giving and receiving, and that's an age-old thing. Not hoarding gold and metal. And the Braves, back, in when Native Americans or natives in America or natives on this land called America roamed around, and they found prospectors leaving their crap in a stream, their old rusty panning gold pans and devices that they tried to find, and just leaving the river messed up and polluted. They just shook their head and go, what are they after? This shiny metal is what they're after? Again, the rape of Mother Earth, Unsi Maka. This is what they're after, and aren't they doing that now with gold? And gold is, with oil, and oil's the new gold. You got the petrodollar. So it's this love of some kind of materialistic false thing. Oil, let's just look at it. Greasy, grimy, stinky oil. Gold, it's just a shiny rock. This represents our fiat system and our currency, and then that really became no longer true when we went off the gold standard, and it just became ones and zeros on a computer, with people still thinking that there was some kind of gold or silver backing that up when there isn't. And why did they go off that standard anyway? So they could freely manipulate and rob and rape others of everything that they own, so that they could manipulate the numbers more easily, just like they're doing right now, and just like they may continue to do as time goes on here. It's just a mass manipulation of an energy, okay? A gold energy, a gold mindset, and where's that? All in the mind, baby. Why couldn't I go right out on the street here and pick up a piece of asphalt and say, hey, this is the new, or any rock, and say, hey, this is the new backing for our fiat currency? That's all they did. How did that originate? Does gold have some kind of metaphysical properties that we don't know about? Well, maybe it does, and maybe they're not too good. Maybe the metaphysical properties of gold aren't too good. If they cause greed and hate and killing and murder, and it's like a shiny piece of metal that means a lot to somebody because it's shiny. And that's almost like a false pride. That's almost like an illusion. It is an illusion. It's judging worth by looks. It's judging your worth by or a worth, and your worth by how something looks. It's shiny. And we have to have lots of that, because if we have lots of that, then we can have anything we want. We can have freedom. We can have, what makes the world go around? Well, we could have any woman or man that we wanted, or we could have this car or that car, and we can have our sexual escapades and our parties, and man, we can do a lot with that. There's not anything money can't buy. Isn't that pretty pathetic, people? Isn't that pathetic? That this is what this world has come to, is the fact that we buy and sell people, we buy and sell souls, we buy and sell spirit with a piece of shiny rock? Hello? So, when is mankind going to realize that he's been duped into this big game of like chasing the representation of this shiny rock that appears as a greenback, or as Lame Deer used to say, the green frog skins? And he basically has sold his soul to the devil. And these people are a metaphor for the devil. That's maybe what the devil really means, is that people that steal your soul. And that you sell your soul for a shiny piece of metal or a piece of land or a rock. Okay? Think about that one for a while. And so all this stuff really makes no sense at all. What really makes sense is the manifestation of the creative intelligence, which is all around us in the form of not just gold, but trees, resources, animals, streams, sky, rain, oceans, lakes, fish, game. That's the real resource. Because that was given to us abundantly by the Creator, by Great Spirit, so we wouldn't have to go dig in the ground and buy it. It's there. It's free. So how did we get into the situation where everything had to be paid for by some representation of a piece of gold in the ground? Talk about the stick and the carrot. Talk about an illusion. Talk about people getting so far off course that they don't know what reality is from plasticity. Okay, a plastic world from a real world, a virtual world of zeros and numbers and men climbing all over the place and killing each other and cutting each other's throats and bombing each other for ones and zeros on a computer that represent a shiny piece of gold, which really probably doesn't even exist anymore. Think about that one. And when you think about all this stuff, then you realize that civilization has to fall. It has to fall at some point because it's based on nothing. It's based on an illusion, and that illusion is fading once they run out of the illusion, and it no longer works for them. And mankind finally wakes up, or the situation has gotten into a catch-22 situation where that gold for gold and bartering for bartering and trading for trading somehow reaches a dead end and doesn't work anymore. Then that's when it all comes down, people, or when people realize exactly what I'm saying right now is like, well, why are we working so hard for this when we could have it for free? If we just live a different life, a life close to land and close to Mother Earth. Why should we pay for this stuff if we can have it for free? And whoever sold us this bill of goods that we got to do all this work to get stuff that if we stopped working and just used our heads and went out into the wilderness with the right tools and the right mindset and the right this and the right that, that we could survive forever and ever and ever, have no more industry polluting the streams, have no more of this drive, okay, this drive to get party time money, okay, but for what? To buy what? Something you could have had free in the first place. And so, back to, as an offshoot of that, back to the agendas of these people that are disseminating information to us via either the mainstream or alternate stream, whatever. Don't you think that the government's going to infiltrate alternate news sources too? They are. That's why it's better to just listen to people. I don't have an agenda. I'm just noticing stuff. I have a shamanistic agenda, and that's love and oneness and bonding with my fellow man and happiness for everybody, and everybody giving and taking through this circle of life. This circle of life, not this circle of gold, a gold coin. And it's all rather disheartening when you can see, when you're enlightened, when you can see, as thunder sees all this stuff and disseminates to you and talks to you and triggers your thinking capacity, and spirit, kicks you into spirit mode. And you realize the ridiculousness of war. What is war for? It's all about, it all reverts right back to this wanting resources. And it's getting now to where the real resources are running out. And when the real resources run out, civilization will fall just as sure as you're going to take your next breath, which I hope you do, or as sure as the sun rises. Civilizations will fall. And so your treasure is not in any kind of gold, okay? It's up here and in your heart. And I hope people realize this and pass this video around. And I don't know why it takes so much for people to realize certain things when I realize it so easily. I can't figure that out. Or why people want to sit around and discuss it all the time, talk about it. Well, do you think it's this way, or do you think it's that, or is this going to happen, or when is it decline, and what's it going to look like for the man on the street when civilization crashes? What do you think it's going to look like? Hello? It's not going to be a pretty picture. So why doesn't mankind just throw up his hands and say, look, this is futile, this is useless? And see, it's just going to be a replay. I mean, even if there is an economic reset and everything crashes and it all comes tumbling down, we turn into a third world country, and, well, it's just going to get hellacious and 100 times worse. Until the earth becomes a big refuse pile and overpopulated and looks like some future apocalyptic world where people are being zapped, and oh man, I mean, it's horrific. It's horrific. And how did we get here? Oh, that little piece of gold that we wanted, that we dug into Mother Earth. Maybe Mother Earth put a curse on everybody. Said, okay, you want to dig into my side for some gold. You want to do that? Well, then you'll suffer the consequences of it being the worst thing that you could ever imagine. And that's what it is. So maybe Mother Earth already got her payback. And she's just waiting for us to kind of fade out of the picture. And if that's the case, well, good for you, Mother Earth. Good for you. This is Thunder. I'll leave it there today. Over and out.